The usual capacity crowd, better than 19,000, making their way into the Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles. Laker fans are hoping for the completion of yet another sweep to move on to the NBA Finals, while the Spurs are hoping to extend to a Game 5 back in San Antonio on Tuesday night. Today it's Game 4 of the best-of-7 Western Conference Final. The surging Los Angeles Lakers going up against the San Antonio Spurs. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert, along with Doug Collins. We'll be joined in a moment by Jim Gray. Now, Doug, this was supposed to be a classic series. Terrific matchup between the Lakers and the Spurs. Instead, it has turned into a rout, a dismantling by the Lakers over the Spurs. What has happened here?
Well, Marv, everything starts with the dominance of Kobe and Shaq. We're running out of adjectives and superlatives for these two guys. Look what they have done in this series. Combined for almost 64 points. The entire Spurs team, 81, so they're outscoring the duo by only 17 points. But the Spurs' problems run deeper than that. Hustle, energy, toughness, all the loose balls have gone to the Lakers. These sap the energy out of your team. The loose ball to Kobe. Now watch the great hustle play by Robert Horry. The big three by Bryant at the top of the circle. And then this play at the end of the half, really a momentum play, gave them a 10-point lead. They went on to win by 39 in a rout. And let's take a look at the hustle board. This is what Greg Popovich wants to change today. Plus 19 points in the paint, plus 12 rebounds, second chance points almost 9, and fast break points almost 7. They've won every one of those categories. So Marv, if you're the Lakers, you don't change anything. Pound it inside to Shaq, have Kobe go to work, defend, and you think this series will be over today.
All right, and for San Antonio, Game 3 on Friday night, it was total destruction. A 39-point loss, their worst defeat of the season. The Spurs were a demoralized team, and that's the major concern of head coach Greg Popovich as he approaches today's game.
We stopped believing and we gave in. That's not what this team is about. We need to be embarrassed about that, and it's not the way to go into your summer. When you've had a year where you have the best record and you're one of 4 final teams out of 29 and you get to the conference finals, you don't end it like that. Nobody does. So I don't care about a championship at this point. I care about what our team does in Game 4 and show that character and that class. And if they do that, then they got a great opportunity to win. And that's what I'm anxious to see, and that's what we have to have.
Well, Marv, what he said, it's not about X's and O's. It's not about strategy. It's heart, it's courage, it's determination, it's toughness, the things that won for them during the regular season. Now, we know the Spurs are going home tonight after the game. Will it be for the summer being swept? Are they going to drag the Lakers back for a Game 5? Maybe spoil some picnic plans they might have for tomorrow.
You know, Doug, you hate to see those carefully constructed picnic plans messed up. Coming up, it's the Lakers and the Spurs. San Antonio looking for leadership from the Twin Towers, who've yet to stand tall together. LA looking to continue to fly high with Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant aiming to put the Spurs behind them. Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals is next. The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. By Adidas Forever Sport. By Miller Lite. Grab a Miller Lite. It's Miller time. And by Wendy's Late Night Pickup Window, where you can eat great, even late. Welcome back to Los Angeles for Game 4 of the Western Conference Final Series. A look at the starting lineups for the San Antonio Spurs, and Greg Popovich going the same way he did in game number 3 here on Friday night. So Derek Anderson back from the separated shoulder, although 0 for 8 from the field in his return. The Lakers with Fox, Grant, O'Neal up front, Fisher and Bryant in the backcourt. Let's go to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Marv. I spoke to Shaquille O'Neal after he warmed up. I asked him how his ankle is. He said, all right, not great, not bad. He's going to play. They're going to keep a very close eye on him. Phil Jackson and Gary Vitti, if they see any signs of stress or any sign of limping, he will not continue in the game for long. They don't want to risk the bigger picture, and that's the finals. Finally, Shaquille O'Neal told me, we just want to get this thing over
with. Marv?
All right, Jim, and Shaq coming off 16 of 23 from the field, 35 points, 17 rebounds. Kobe Bryant with 36 on 14 of 27, plus 9 rebounds and 8 assists. And this season on the line for the San Antonio Spurs, a San Antonio team that went 58 and 24, the NBA's best overall record during the regular campaign. In closeout situations, the Lakers this season, as compared to last year when they went 4 and 6, 2-0, able to close out Portland and Sacramento. Right now they're gunning for 19 straight wins. Anderson and the Lakers to the offense.
Well, you could see trying to get a little movement early, get Anderson to get that feeling of the ball going in the basket. Now he's missed all 9 shots of this series. Only played, though, 1 game.
Mars got off to the slow start on Friday, picking up a couple of fouls. Bit under the weather, says he's feeling much better. Antonio Daniels. David Robinson, who did come up strong on Friday night. Kept alive by Duncan. Tim Duncan trying to bounce back from one of the worst games in his NBA career. Only a 3 for 14 from the field. Nice ball movement. Daniels for 3. Spurs just cannot buy one from downtown.
Well, the Lakers are so quick defensively, scrambling on that perimeter, and I've watched Antonio Daniels in this series, Marv. His three-point shot a little flat.
Rick Fox played by Derek Anderson. Shot clock is at 5. Shaq with 2 on the 24. O'Neal with the recovery.
See, that can't happen. You're in a big game right now, and that has to make Greg Popovich very unhappy. David Robinson forced a tough shot. They have to come up with a rebound. Mark, 22 offensive rebounds in Game 3.
Lakers with a 4-0 lead. Duncan. Spurs do get back. Kobe accelerates and hits.
This is bad news for the Spurs. They wanted to get out of the gate quickly. They dug themselves a 13-point hole in Game 3. They have not been able to hit a shot. The Lakers offensive rebounds, fast break points. Horace Grant hitting a jumper. The Spurs must regroup right now. Marv, I spoke in the open. Hustle points. One of those are second chance points. What happens? A tough shot against the clock. Shaq just wants it a little bit more. He gets it back, and he buries it on the dunk shot. Fast break points. Who has that gone to? That has gone to the Lakers. So right now the Lakers already picking up where they have this entire series.
Greg Popovich forced to call the early 20 with just 2 minutes gone by. Here's Tim Duncan. And that's the first field goal for San Antonio.
You know, I thought it was a combination of things in Game 3, Mark. He missed some early free throws I thought got him out of sync. But secondly, David Robinson got off quickly. He didn't, and I don't think he ever recovered that entire game.
And I think part of the philosophy was to get David Robinson involved early. Kobe Bryant involved early, which has become traditional the way the Lakers have been playing. And a traveling violation on Anderson.
You have to feel for Derek Anderson. You know, he comes to the Spurs to try to find a spot on this team, give him some quickness and speed. He's been hurt, but you see Duncan and Robinson, the two of them have not been able to put it together at the same time.
Lakers with an 8-2 lead. Fisher for 3.
This is demoralizing. You know, you'd have to think that the Lakers can't keep playing this way and shooting this well. They just get better and better.
Here's Porter. It counts, and the foul. Terry Porter, who has been silent in this series, will head to the line. The foul on Bryant.
Well, Terry Porter needs this. He needs to get himself an easy basket. 6 of 21 in series, only 2 of 14 from the 3. He gets in the lane, gets a little bump, and he's very strong and has the ability to finish. But Mark Fisher now in the series, 10 of 14 behind that three-point line. He has as many threes as the Spurs team, and they were first in the league in three-point shooting.
During the regular season, San Antonio at 41%. That's the third best mark ever in the history of the NBA since the three-point shot came into play. That was back in the 79-80 season. Anderson slashing his way and draws the foul. Foul on Rick Fox. Now, during the first two rounds from three-point range, those are very high numbers. And now look at this in the series against the Lakers over the first three games. Some ugly numbers there. Terry Porter 2 for 14. Antonio Daniels 3 of 12, 22% from downtown.
You see, the difference is in the first two rounds, the Spurs saw a lot of double teams on Duncan. He kicked it out. The three-point shooters had wide open shot. The Lakers have not done that much double teaming, and so as a result, they've been able to smother those three-point shooters. Have not got the same opportunities.
O'Neal his way. Shaq playing with that mild sprain of his left ankle. Anderson hops it back. Porter. So Terry Porter showing some confidence.
See, the difference is when Horace Grant is in the game, he does not switch as well on those screens as Robert Horry. The Spurs know that, so we've seen a lot of that here early in this game, and Porter's been able to get a couple baskets from it.
We have played 4 minutes, and the Lakers lead 13-9. Grant. Eric Anderson on the box out in front of Rick Fox.
Like he might have hurt his shoulder a little bit. He threw the ball with his left arm coming out of there. He's hanging that right arm. Mark, we'll have to watch him.
Anderson trying not to show it to the Lakers, but yes, he looks like he's hurt. O'Neal. Again, the hustle play. This time, Grant.
That's what takes the life out of your team. When you don't come up with a play like that, those plays demoralize you.
Robinson lost it. Here comes Kobe. Kobe Bryant has run a layup drill against the San Antonio Spurs throughout the series. Nice pass. Robinson could not hit. Daniels on the recovery. Antonio Daniels brings the Spurs within 4.
See, I like what the Spurs are doing, though. They just cannot get into a half-court game because the Lakers are defending them. Both of their big guys run well. Get up and down the floor. You saw Duncan make a great pass to Robinson. He didn't convert, but they got a chance for a second shot.
Shaquille O'Neal once again getting position on David Robinson.
Now that's a set play. Shaq gets deep in the post and Kobe throws right down the gut of the defense. The Spurs have to overplay that pass back to the top.
And of defense as Duncan looks to make his move on Grant, then gives it up. Porter comes up short on that three-point attempt. Foul. It's a charge, and that's his second personal. Now the Lakers take a timeout with 5:56 remaining in this first quarter. Watch how Kobe is able to adjust off the lob and put it through.
Well, Marv, you talked about the layups and dunks. We went to commercial with a Kobe dunk. Now watch this. Antonio Daniels has to overplay this pass because Shaq is going to post deep, and on this pass, it's going right down the gut of the defense. He gets great position, and he's going to turn and just power the ball to the basket. So Antonio Daniels has to take that pass away, and this is what we were talking about, Marv. You talked about the layups and dunks. Look in Game 1, Game 2, Game 3, and already we've seen Kobe with 2 dunks and Shaq with 2, so they already have 4 in the game. We've only played 6 minutes.
And you saw that high number in Game 3. That was most disheartening to Greg Popovich as he watched his team in the second half. Bennett Salvatore, the outside official, calling the holding foul on Bryant Shaw, who had just checked in. It's Bennett Salvatore, Ed F. Rush, Bernie Fryer working the game here this afternoon. Kobe Bryant sitting down after picking up a second foul, so Shaw has come on. Avery Johnson in for the first time for the Spurs.
The Spurs have to take advantage of Kobe sitting down now with foul trouble.
Derek Anderson out of control with that dribble.
Rick Fox is just his defense in the playoffs. We saw it against Stojakovic in Sacramento. We saw it in the Portland series. Now we see it here.
Drop step forward by Shaq. He looked, I thought, as if he were affected on that very first shot attempt, first 30 seconds of the game. Then was able to recover on the rebound, but Shaq looking just fine despite the sprained ankle.
I think what happens, you get it out of your mind that you're okay, and secondly, you get warmed up out there, and then you can get yourself moving a little better. David Robinson misses the easy one. Could have been a microcosm of this San Antonio series. They have just not been able to finish.
David Robinson 0 for 5 from the field here at the start after coming back with a solid game on Friday night. Nice backdoor pass from O'Neal, and Grant will go to the line.
Well, Derek Anderson trying to handle the ball. He's out of rhythm, and Rick Fox, anytime that ball is exposed, he's getting his hand in there, and this is what it leads to. Shaq with that big, powerful bump in the lane. He sort of gets that shoulder on you, knocks you back, and gets the little shot in the lane. But, Marv, early in this game, Spurs already have some long looks on their faces right now. They cannot feel sorry for themselves. I mean, the Lakers are not going to let up. They have got to find a way to emotionally get themselves in the game. The Lakers off to a great start right now.
A foul committed by Duncan. Lakers 9 of 13 from the field. 4 missed shots, 2 offensive rebounds, and they lead at 21-11. Steve Kerr on the floor for the first time. It's Kerr and Johnson in the backcourt. Duncan again played well by Grant, and a foul is called. It's number 2 on Duncan.
You have to give a tremendous amount of credit to Horace Grant and Robert Horry. There's no double team. Now Fisher's coming back to help, but you see the off arm there to the left. Horace takes a shot in those goggles, and it's the offensive foul on Tim Duncan. The Spurs do not need him in foul trouble and getting out of sync, getting out of rhythm by having to sit on the bench.
Behind the back from O'Neal, but it was broken up.
See, that's when you know you're confident. You're playing in a playoff game, and Shaq's on a wraparound behind-the-back bounce pass in traffic to a cutter.
Coming up on 4 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Robinson. David Robinson 0 for 6. Grant on a quick release. So the ball back to San Antonio. Danny Ferry will check in for Derek Anderson, who obviously is struggling, and it looked like he came up hobbling just a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, I thought so too. And you have to, really credit him, giving a lot of courage here to try to play. His game is slashing and cutting. He's out of rhythm. He's out of condition because he's been sitting out. This is tough for him to try to play in a game like this.
Nice move by Duncan. So Tim Duncan with his second field goal. The Lakers gunning for their 19th straight win. Their last loss on the 1st of April. They lost to the Knicks here at home. They won their final 8 of the regular season. They've got 10 of those in the postseason. And a foul is called, a holding foul, with the Spurs converging on O'Neal. Robinson picks up his first. And the Lakers closing in on 2 calendar months without a loss. It's now 55 days without a defeat.
Amazing. You and I were here April 1st when the Knicks beat them by a point.
NBA record 33 consecutive wins by the 72 Lakers. Well, that was straight right through the regular season. Here's Shaw. Brian Shaw has found the touch. The other night, 3 for 3 from the field, 2 for 2 from downtown. Lakers now lead 23-13. Danny Ferry, David Robinson not able to get into it. Avery Johnson. He's been off throughout the series. Fisher kept alive by O'Neal. Johnson, and now foul.
If that's on Duncan, that's 3. Let's see if it goes to Avery Johnson. This is a big call right here, Marv. Ball goes inside. Horace Grant fumbles it, then picks it back up. Avery Johnson right there with a reach-in foul. Good fortune for the Spurs, but right now, once again, the Lakers more aggressive, getting all the hustle points. Kobe with 2 fouls, but the Lakers still up by 10.
Doug, you get the idea. Charles Barkley is lurking. Look at that. Look at that expression. Coming up on Net Zero at the half. Bob Costas will talk live with Sir Charles. Charles Barkley coming off a banner season in the studio with Turner Sports. You just never know what Charles will have to say. Actually, looking ahead, I can see Charles Barkley as a combination player / color commentator for your Wizards.
Really?
Yes.
So he's going to play and then take my job as well as an analyst.
No, as color commentator for the Wizards.
Oh, okay, I see. Well, you know, Charles is always going to speak his mind, so we'll see what happens with him. But I hope he can get healthy. It'd be great to see what Charles can do, and you know that Bob is going to be at his finest at halftime as well.
It's coming up. Net Zero at the half. 2.5 remaining in this first quarter. And the Lakers now lead 25-13. Here's Steve Kerr trying to elude Brian Shaw. Get the idea. Steve Kerr is having difficulty locating shots. Duncan with the bucket and the foul.
Well, Phil Jackson has a tremendous amount of respect for his days in Chicago. He knows what Steve can do. You let him get those feet set and get a couple shots to go, he could really change the rhythm of a game for this team. But Tim Duncan, once again, isolating, no double team. They're going to let him play, put it on the floor, and then you come over and get a little help, but that was too late by Brian Shaw. Reach in and 3-point play by Tim Duncan. So Duncan off to a good start, but Marv, once again, Robinson struggling. They both have not been able to put it together yet.
Duncan has 7 points. Robinson is 0 for the quarter, 0 for 6 from the field. Malik Rose has come on, replacing David Robinson. Showing nowhere to go. Avery Johnson off the steal. Here's Rose trying to get it back. Very fortunate that it landed back in his hands. And a crowd calling for a travel.
Not your textbook fast break.
Malik Rose for a moment was deep in the pivot. He was being dwarfed by Shaquille O'Neal. Now Rose challenges Shaq and draws the foul. Malik going to the running one-hander, and Shaquille O'Neal commits his first.
Well, one of the things he can bring is energy. You want to make him shoot some outside jump shots rather than get to the basket. Shaq that time just a little remiss in moving his feet and got a little lazy on the play and committed the foul. But this is a guy who can bring some energy and really revitalize your team. They do not want to see him going if you're Phil Jackson.
Kobe Bryant, Robert Horry checking in. And Shaq will sit down. You can log on to NBA.com. Log on to make your own in-progress highlight reel of every game with, as it is entitled, My Highlights. And email the NBA commentators, including the man who just checked in, the Lakers' Robert Horry. It's all at NBA.com. So Kobe Bryant back on the floor. He's playing with 2 fouls. Derek Fisher. Kobe guarded by Antonio Daniels. Here's Fisher. Yes.
He's in some kind of rhythm. No hesitation, whether it's from the 3-point line, coming off the screen. He just let it go, and he is filling it up, shooting 52% in this series, 10 of 14 now from 3.
Derek Fisher, who has made it back from that stress fracture injury. Made it back in a big way. Foul is called on the Lakers. And Derek, the Lakers' 3rd leading scorer in the playoffs. He's averaging just under 14 per game. Missed the first 62 games of the regular season. And since his return, the Lakers have been sizzling, and it's no coincidence.
Oh, not at all. He brings energy, and what he's been able to do is bring some more speed. Remember, Marv, early in the year, one of the knocks on the Lakers was that Kobe was pushing the ball, and 4 guys were jogging in behind them. Now they have some more speed. Fisher's running better. Fox is running better with Kobe. So now when he's out running a fast break, it's not a 1-on-3 break. He's got some guys running with him.
It's 27-19. Lakers with the lead. 1 minute remaining in this first quarter. three. And Duncan is hammered by Grant. Lakers over the limit. Tim Duncan back to the line. That's the second foul committed by Horace Grant.
Horace Grant with the hustle play tries to come over the shoulder of Tim Duncan, hits him inadvertently in the face, and ever the sportsman, Horace goes up and asks, "Are you okay?" Horace will play you tough, but he will never take a cheap shot.
Horace Grant took a pretty good shot earlier this first quarter. For Horace, this is his 161st career playoff game. And he's had an intriguing run at the defensive end. He's had a guard Rasheed Wallace of Portland and Chris Webber of Sacramento, and now going up against Tim Duncan.
It's amazing. I was Horace's coach when he played his first playoff game, and to see his growth, see him become a champion, it's really been a joy.
Also, you've seen how the physique has changed. You were telling me the other day when he first reported to the Bulls, he had a Bob McAdoo type body. Fisher, Derek Fisher has been on fire throughout this playoff run.
Now, if you're Greg Popovich, what are you going to do? The guy's got a hand in his face shooting a three, and the ball, that's when you're feeling it.
Avery Johnson kicks it out. Danny Ferry for three. And that's a rare, successful three-point shot by the Spurs.
Well, he's one of the few guys that shot it halfway decent here in the playoffs. He's now 4 of 9 from behind the three-point line. The rest of the team has really struggled.
The Lakers with a 30-23 lead. This Laker club has had no difficulty putting up 30-point quarters against what had been considered to be an excellent San Antonio defensive team.
Mark, what they've been able to do is really space them out and force the big guys to have to come out to expose the basket, because Fisher and Kobe and Fox, some of these guys are making shots, and when you make shots, you've got to defend, and when you defend, it opens up the paint. That's why you have to get both of the facets of your game going. The Spurs have not been able to make any shots.
Tim Duncan sitting down now. Samaki Walker has checked in. Final seconds of the first. Mark Matson on the floor for the first time for the Lakers. Fox for three.
Just like that. Kobe penetrates, finds the man, three-point shot.
Last second shot here by Daniels. Standing ovation for the defending NBA champion Los Angeles Lakers. One game away from headed to the finals for the second consecutive season. After one, it's the Lakers 33 and the Spurs 23. You're watching the NBA playoffs on NBC. Welcome back to Staples Center in Los Angeles. Another hot shooting quarter for the Lakers. 13 of 23 from the field. The Spurs just 7 for 19.
Well, look at the defense in the first two rounds by the Spurs. It's been magnificent. But to me, this is what stands out right here. And I'll tell you why, Marv. When they're shooting the ball like that, Kobe's penetrating. When you leave, they hit the shots. When you don't, he gets to the basket. It also opens up the power play, the posting of Shaquille O'Neal. What happens in the first half today? 57% shooting in the first quarter overall. 3 for 4, 75% from three. It is not ending for the Lakers. It just keeps going.
In the regular season, the Spurs allowed just 88 points per game. That was the best defensive record in the West, 3rd overall in the league. So the second quarter getting underway. Rick Fox inbounds to Kobe Bryant. Derek Fisher.
Okay, he's not even hitting the rim.
Derek is 4 for 5 for 10 points. And the Lakers have a 12-point advantage. Tim Duncan is back. Here's Duncan. And he's fouled. Both Ori and O'Neal reaching, and it's Shaq picking up a second.
Now, Marv, watch this. This is a contested shot. As he goes up to shoot, look at Avery. He's got a hand in his face. I mean, this guy's got it stuck on autopilot right now. Just get him the ball and gets his feet together. He's making everything he throws up there.
Derek in his 5th season at an Arkansas Little Rock. And you see, he finished up the regular season after missing the first 62 games, averaged 11.5. Came back strong right at the start and then picked it up in this playoff run.
Well, it's interesting. In this series alone now, he has 2 turnovers in 116 minutes. I would say that's taking care of the basketball, valuing possessions.
Horry, O'Neal, and Fox on the front line, and Shaq is fouled. Bryant and Fisher in the backcourt. Foul on Malik Rose.
Malik is trying so hard. You see David sitting on the bench. That's why they need him on the floor. Malik Rose is going to give you his heart and soul, but he's overmatched. I mean, they're stretching him to say he's 6'7", 250 or 60 or whatever he is. He's given up 100 pounds to Shaq on that low block at about 7 or 8 inches in height. And that's just a mismatch.
Shaq hitting on his first attempt, only 3 of 9 at the line on Friday night.
They haven't even been close enough here in some of these games to make the hack-a-Shaq a possibility. I mean, Shaq is not shooting the free throws very well. I mean, he's 12 of 23 going into today, but he's only shooting like a little over 7 free throws a game.
He's cooled down. He'd actually improved his foul shooting the first couple of rounds against Portland and Sacramento. Daniels. O'Neal able to sweep it. O'Neal off the recovery. And a blocking foul is called on Ferry.
And who does the loose ball go to? It goes to the Lakers. Now, that was a little bit of luck involved in that because Malik Rose does get around and knock the ball loose. But what happens? Fisher's there to pick it up, fires the ball right back inside to Shaquille O'Neal. And when he's that deep, if you're Danny Fair, that's all you can do is take the foul. And that's a good foul. And you see Greg Popovich, it's like, you know, what can we do? You know, we can't get a charge. We can't get a loose ball. It just seems like everything right now is bouncing the Lakers' way.
Phil Jackson was asked how this run by the Lakers compares to his '91 Chicago Bulls team that lost only 3 times en route to the title. And Phil said this has been more of a dominant fashion by this team, which is totally unexpected.
Marv, their point differential in the playoffs, I think, is over 14 a game. You're talking about Portland, Sacramento, now San Antonio. They have not had any easy games in the playoffs, or any easy opponents, I should say.
Off the double. Duncan finding Daniels. And it's the same story for San Antonio. Greg Popovich talking about it yesterday. They just cannot hit their shots. Bryant, while the Lakers continue their sensational shooting. Kobe's now 4 for 4. That's his first 3. He has 9. And here are the Lakers up by 17 points. Avery Johnson able to penetrate. Shaq holding back, did not want to pick up a third. 41-26. And the Spurs were talking about the lack of belief. Shaquille O'Neal, the lack of belief in the second half. What are they thinking right here?
Well, Kobe's just breaking him down defensively. He just gets in the lane. Somebody's got to come help, Marv. You can't let him get to the basket. And when you do, you drop it off to Shaq, and he scores the ball. So the penetration and the speed of Kobe as a point guard in this series. Phil has gone away from the triangle a little bit, and he's allowed Kobe just to penetrate. When he does, he just breaks the defense down. Robert Horry will, with a little bang there, we'll have to check it out. But Kobe comes down, surveys the floor, so I got a smaller guy on me. I'll just raise up and shoot the ball. Now the next time you space the floor, look at all the penetration he gets. He gets in the lane. Malik Rose comes over to help, and slow rotation by Tim Duncan, and one more dunk by the Lakers.
Robert Horry called for that foul and took the shot on the knee. Tim Duncan with the reverse stuff as this capacity crowd is chanting sweep.
Well, this is the Tim Duncan that we saw in Game 2. He had a miserable Game 3, and he's coming back, but he's got to get some help, Marv. Robinson has not scored. He's got to get in the game, and they've got to hit some field goals from the perimeter.
Johnson reaching in, and he picks up his 3rd foul. On Avery Johnson making contact with the right knee of Robert Horry.
There's no sympathy in basketball. You see his knee is hurting a little bit. Gets hit right in the nose. You know, if you're going to be out there, be ready.
Horry with another rebound, finding Shaq. You know, you look at the box score, game 3, Robert Horry, 1 for 10 from the field in 34 minutes. But that tells you nothing, because he was on every loose ball. He had 12 rebounds. He had 4 assists. And he had a terrific game. And when can you say that about a guy who's 1 for 10?
Well, you know, we talked about that the other day. Had you just picked up the paper and saw the statistics, you said, boy, Robert Horry really struggled. But Duncan only 3 of 14. Horace Grant got in foul trouble. They didn't have to double the entire game. And here's Robert Horry with the hustle play. How about this little athletic play by Shaq? The up and under between 2 shot blockers. Everything going well for the Lakers. They lead by 17.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Jeep Grand Cherokee with legendary off-road capability. By Budweiser with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. And by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
I think this may turn out to be a little bit more physical than the other game.
They're trying. San Antonio's
Yeah,
trying.
so let's stay with it. They go up a notch. Let's go up a notch with them.
Well, they have gone up several notches. It's been a physical first half.
Well, Mark, when you're facing elimination, you expect to get a little bit more physical. You're going to fight to go down, and that's exactly what we've seen here. But they just have not had any answers. I mean, Kobe and Shaq, 24 points. The entire Spurs team, 28. Assists, 15 to 3. Rebounds, 17 to 7. They're dominating in every stat right now.
Lakers have a 17-point lead, 8.5 remaining in the second quarter, and a blocking foul charged to Shaw. 13th foul on the Lakers.
See, Mark, I'm trying to think, what can the Spurs do to get some life, get some vitality, get something going? I mean, they really need David Robinson to give them something right now. He's such an important part of this team. He's got to come alive before the half.
Robinson is 0 for 6 from the field. Robinson with the rebound, and there is his first field goal. So the Lakers now lead 45-30. Derek Fisher is back, coming on for the foul play. Brian Shaw. Fisher played by Porter. Shaq went down and fouled by Robinson. That's his second. 14th foul on the Spurs.
That means every time now the Lakers go to the basket and there's a foul, they'll shoot free throws the rest of the half. The lockup there as David Robinson and Shaq go down. Excuse me, Shaq goes down. David Robinson does get the foul.
Shaq looking around for the help. Terry Porter was there for a moment. Nice move. Shaquille O'Neal with the baseline fadeaway.
See, the problem you've got now, Duncan and Robinson both have 2 fouls. During a penalty, if somebody's going to take a foul, it's going to have to be somebody coming down and fouling Shaq off the ball.
Terry Porter coming up with air. Fox now guarded by Anderson. Now Duncan is defending on O'Neal.
Great pass.
Kobe passing on the perimeter shot. Fisher around Duncan. To the left. That was number 3 on Tim Duncan.
Well, Fisher gets the switch. Duncan's planning to use this quickness. Here comes David Robinson. The little jackknife shot in the lane. Doesn't even see the ball go in the basket. The 3-point play opportunity. He misses the free throw, but that third foul now on Robinson. And you see Malik Rose waiting to come in the game now for the Spurs to get David Robinson out.
Shot clock at 7. Another Spurs turnover. Shaq leads the break. Shaq. Pass for Kobe.
Look at Shaq. Look at Shaq put down the ball. You think he's having some fun? Thought he was
San Antonio Spurs are being dismantled.
Look at Shaquille on this play. Look at his eyes. I'm in the open court. I'm going to make a play. Comes down the floor, tongue wagging, looks away to Kobe, who drops it back. And then the powerful dunk. And then he's having some fun running back down the floor. There's nothing wrong with that ankle. Now this is your center in the open court. Look at him look away. The little touch pass. The agility to be able to catch that ball on the move with the finish. Shaq is having fun. Kobe's having fun. The Lakers lead by 21. And right now, the energy that they have right now is overwhelming the Spurs. Just remember when we talked to Phil before game one, and we asked him, what do you like most about your team? He said, I love our energy right now. We have seen that the entire series.
And again, we're seeing the Lakers' speed at both the offensive end and the defensive end. The Lakers have a 21-point lead. Now, San Antonio had to suffer for a good portion of the second half. On Friday night, foul is called on Robinson. So that's his third three apiece on Robinson and Duncan. It appears as if we're headed for a long suffering period here for San Antonio. We still have 6.5 minutes to go in the second quarter, and they're trailing by 21.
Now, what are you going to do if you're Greg Popovich being down by this kind of amount of points? You got your best players sitting over on the bench. You've got now David Robinson with 3 fouls. At what point do you say, I got to bring him back in, because if we get down by 30, it's going to be too late anyway. So Greg Popovich is going to have to watch what goes on here, Marv, to see if he has to bring Duncan back in before halftime.
Tim Duncan sitting out after picking up his third. David Robinson playing with 3. Robert Horry missing on both. Horry on the rebound.
But who comes up with it? I mean, that's a missed free throw. This is exactly what the Lakers have done. They've wanted every loose ball just a little bit more.
Fox for 3. Antonio Daniels feeding the post. Robinson off the double team. And lost it. He thought it was foul. Kobe penetrates. Going glass.
It looked like the Spurs tried to take the foul. They grabbed his arm. Popovich might get ejected here. He's got to do something to get some life in his team. He felt that David Robinson was hammered in the lane. No call. And now Phil got ejected in game 2. That gave his team some life.
And now the technical foul is called on Greg Popovich, arguing that should have been a foul. There was close to a travel also on the part of David Robinson. Kobe Bryant now 12 points, 7 assists. There's Mark Matson, the rookie from Stanford, who played briefly right at the end of the first quarter. Coming on for Shaquille O'Neal, who has been brilliant once again. 8 for 12, 19 points, 7 rebounds, despite that left ankle sprain.
The one thing now you have to worry about if you're the Lakers, when Shaq sits, will he stiffen up with that ankle? Many times that happens, so we'll see how much rest Phil gives him before he brings him back in. But I wouldn't expect him to sit very, very long here, Marv.
Here's Sean Elliott, who did not play at all in game 3. Fisher for 3. Robinson on the rebound. Lakers in the midst of a 9-0 run. Porter's pass broken up. Fox completes the fast break.
You know, Marv, what's an interesting statistic? The Spurs in this series are only turning the ball over a little over 12 times. But the Lakers have 9 steals. You can't defend against steals, so the turnovers are low, but the steals are high. That's why they're getting fast break points.
Round 1 of the travel on Sean Elliott. Sean Elliott, who's battled knee problems second half of the season and has just not been the same, has not been a factor. Foul by Fox. Lakers with their 4th team foul. Here's Duncan making his return. Robinson sits down.
Well, that's what I talked about. There's no need for Duncan to sit over there and get down by 40. I mean, you're down right now by 26, so you can't lose pace with the game so badly you have no chance in the second half, so you might as well bring Duncan back in and say, you know what, just play. I don't care how many fouls you got, just play.
Let's check in with Jim Gray. Jim?
All right, Marvel, I spoke to Sean Elliott before the game, and he told me if, in fact, this is the Spurs' last game of the season, it will be his last day, he feels, with the Spurs, and most likely his last day in the NBA, that he is heavily leaning toward retirement. It's not because of his health. It's not because of his kidney. He told me it's just a lot of things, and he feels right now that just enough is enough. Marv?
All right, thank you, Jim. Remarkably, Sean Elliott made it back last season in miraculous fashion from the kidney transplant. Began the season actually as the San Antonio Spurs TV color commentator. 14 points now for Kobe Bryant. And that appeared in 19 games at the end of the regular campaign, followed by 4 playoff games. Seemingly came back stronger this season. Duncan has 13 and then had the knee problems, and that set him back.
Maybe hit the biggest shot in the Spurs championship run when he hit the shot on Memorial Day to beat Portland, getting a 2-0 lead in that series. They went on to sweep it, but that led them to a championship. Otherwise, that series 1-1 going back to Portland. So that was a big, big shot in their run for a championship.
Antonio Daniels for San Antonio. So the Lakers now lead 58-36 with just under 4 remaining in the first half. Lakers take a timeout. Phil Jackson concerned the lead is down to 22. So with the timeout, we'll take a break. We'll be back at Staples in a moment.
Ahmad Rashad in New York. Coming up on Net Zero at the half, Bob Costas will have a live interview with Charles Barkley. And Bob, whatever you do, don't ask him anything about golf.
Well, he's already a little peeved, Ahmad, because we had to pull him off the course for this interview. It looks like the Spurs, Charles, can make their tee times right now.
Well, the Lakers are playing at such a high level. I thought the Spurs would win 1 game or 2 maybe, but the Lakers are just unbeatable right now.
Do the Bucks or Sixers have any chance?
Only if NBC rigged one of the games, but the Lakers can't be beat. Nobody beat them 4 times in 7 days.
The very idea of NBC rigging a result is something I find appalling. Ahmad?
The only thing rigged around there is Charles's golf game. Back to Marv and Doug.
All right, thanks, guys. With 3:51 remaining in this first half, the Lakers with a 58-36 lead on the Spurs. I would pay to attend a wizard practice if Charles is in uniform and just watching you try to get his attention. All right, here's Duncan popping it out. Daniels for Elliott for 3. Rod Harper, who did not play at all in Game 3 on Friday night, checked in for the first time.
I think that's why Phil took that timeout, to get Harper and Shaq back in the game. Let Harper get a little bit of a run here with the big lead. As you said, he's not played much, Marv, but remember we were in Sacramento the one game when he came in, when Fox was in foul trouble, did a nice job on Stojakovic for about 3 minutes and really helped him hold on and finish off that series.
Foul on Malik Rose, so Shaquille O'Neal at the line. He's 3 for 4 at the line. At the start of the telecast, Doug, you made mention of how significant you felt the hustle points would be once again, which was the story in Game 3. Let's take a look, and it's a similar scenario here in the first half.
Well, points in the paint, you see +8. Rebounds, out-rebounded by 10, second chance points, the dunks on the fast break. You know, right now, and Charles said it, they're playing at such a high level, and really, they've demoralized the Spurs. Like we saw it really in the second half of Game 3 when they went on that run and the Spurs had no answer. That really frustrated and infuriated Greg Popovich. He did not see that in his team during the regular season.
All right, here's Harper for Bryant. Offensive foul. Terry Porter taking the charge. Harper picks up the personal.
But once again, on the break there, that time Porter was able to step in and take the charge. Otherwise, it's another dunk. That would have been the 7th dunk of the game already for the Lakers. We still have 3 minutes to go in the second period.
Lakers leading by as many as 26 points. Malik Rose not able to hit that outside shot. The largest lead at halftime in NBA playoff history. 40-point differential. Detroit against Washington back in 87. And Shaq now has 21.
Another dunk.
That is number 7 for the Lakers. And they lead 60-36. Antonio Daniels. So that's his third bucket. 6 points for Daniels.
Marv, he's averaging 20 points in this series, and one of the reasons he's been able to score, he's one of the few guys that have the speed and quickness.
Oh, what a play. The touch pass from Fisher to set it up for O'Neal.
But to finish it from Daniels, he's one of the few guys that has the speed to get his own shot. Everybody else was so dependent on Duncan and Robinson. That's why he's been able to find a way to score, get to the free throw line.
On the other hand, he's had his problems as Malik Rose is able to hit from long range. Antonio Daniels has had his hands full in defending against Kobe Bryant, and then Greg Popovich decided to give it a go with Derek Anderson in Game 3. Anderson coming back from the shoulder injury. And an offensive foul is called. It's on Shaq. That's his third.
Shaquille O'Neal just pushes aside Malik Rose, who's trying desperately to try to keep him away from the rim, just cannot do it. And look at the ball movement, the passing. Once again, Shaq right at the front of the rim. The next time down the floor, he gets caught with the offensive foul and will sit. Lakers comfortably up by 22.
So Mark Matson is back on the floor for the Lakers. Here's the lob intended for Duncan and a foul. Grant picks it up. Duncan able to get the step. A minute 17 remaining in this first half. Grant picks up his third. Duncan is 3 of 5, make it 4 of 6 now at the foul line. And Robert Horry checks back in. The Lakers gunning for their 19th straight win. They won their final 8 games of the regular season. Coming into today, 10-0 in the postseason. In the history of the NBA, the league's regular season champion, the team with the best record in the regular season, has been swept out of the playoffs in the same season 3 times. The 77 Lakers, the last time to be a team to be eliminated in the sweep after compiling the best record during the regular season. Make it 4 with an asterisk. The old Rochester Royals back in the 40s in a 2-0 sweep. There it is, losing to the Minneapolis Lakers. Baltimore, Washington, and L.A. in best of 7s, similar to what is taking place here.
I remember 75, what a show Rick Barry put on in those playoffs. In the 77, that was the Bill Walton year. When they came in, that's when you got a bye in the first round. Actually, the Lakers had a bye.
Open shot for Fisher. Derek Fisher, 6 of 8 from the field, 14 points, and the Lakers now lead 64-41.
You got to love Derek Fisher, the way this guy plays. Look at the toughness on the ball. I mean, they're up 23. He's up guarding the basketball, fighting over screens, getting a hand in the shooter's face, rebounding the basketball. I mean, this guy has been phenomenal. We talk about Kobe and Shaq and the adjectives and the superlatives and all, but I tell you, these guys who have been around them have played the best basketball all season long, right now, right at the right time, Mark.
The crowd responding to the play of the Lakers. Harper for 3. Matson rejected. Horry, will it count? No. Robert Horry is appealing to Bennett Salvatore, the official who was on the baseline, and he may count it. Yes. A change of the call.
See what happened, Marv? The clock they heard was the 24-second shot clock. It didn't recycle when it should have, so
the basket will not count. It's a violation.
See, that's a 24-second shot clock violation. You see the double zeros there.
And they put time on the clock now, 0.5 of a second. Or he thought he had gotten the call.
Well, Robert Horry after going 1 for 10 and saying, please,
yes.
I'm working so hard on the other end, give me a basket.
That will not count. Well, the Lakers go 26 for 44. They're 59%. And they lead 64-41 here at the half as they close in on this 4-game sweep. Let's go over to Jim.
All right, thank you very much, Marv. 14 points for Derek Fisher. Doug Collins and Marv were saying there's simply too much energy by the Lakers. Is that the case out here?
Yeah, this is a game where we want to win so bad. We know how good this basketball team is, and if we allow them to get any daylight, they're capable of running off 2 or 3 games in a row, so we have to close it out today.
When did basketball become so easy?
For us, I don't know, because it's been a long season. We fought hard to get to this point, and I think this has to be a great feeling for everyone in this organization.
All right, Derek, good luck in the second half.
Thanks.
All right, back to you, Marv.
Thanks, Jim. Fisher with 14 points. Shaquille O'Neal, the high man, with 23. Kobe Bryant, 14 and 7. Stay tuned for Marv Rashad, Kevin Johnson, PJ Carlissimo back in our New York studio. We'll also have Bob Costas' live interview with Charles Barkley. You're watching the NBA playoffs on NBC.
Welcome to Net Zero. At the half, Net Zero defenders of the free world. Introducing Net Zero Platinum, the ultimate internet. Call 1-800-DEFENDER today.
Ahmad Rashad back in our New York studio. Over the past season, Charles Barkley has been providing his unique insights as an analyst for TNT. But now that his broadcast duties are done, Charles will turn his attention to other matters, specifically his possible return to the NBA. And right now he is live with Bob Costas in Las Vegas. Bob.
All right, Ahmad, thanks very much. Charles, not long ago you weighed 337. You just told me you're down to 290. You're moving toward your old playing weight, but realistically, how close are you to being in playing condition?
It's probably going to take me another 2 or 3 months to get back around my playing weight, but I'm happy with the way it's going. It's been I'm working out about 5.5, 6 hours a day. You know the thing that's
you're working out 5.5, 6 hours a day?
Oh yeah, I have been.
What are you doing?
Lift weights every morning and do court work. Do an hour on the treadmill every night and do some more work on the court.
Now, you'll be 38 when next season starts, 39 before it's over. Now, that's an advanced age, but on top of that, your career ended, at least first time around, with what was called a career-ending injury. How realistic is it to expect you to come back?
Well, I'm not sure if I can come back, but as far as career ending, the only reason it was career ending is because I had said I was going to retire before the season started. No doctor, they've told me that if I get my leg stronger, my leg probably right now is probably 90%. The main thing is my weight and my conditioning.
What percentage of what you were, even the last 2-3 years of your career, can you be? And what percentage of what Michael was, even at the end in '98, do you think he can be?
Well, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Michael, I shouldn't even speak for Michael because I don't know how good he can be. But I look at guys like John Stockton and Karl Malone who played really well this year. And they're both 38. But also I factor in that Michael has sit out 4 years during this time. So if they can play well at 38.
The 2 retirements combined.
Yeah. And if Michael at 38 and missing 4 seasons somewhere in between, and he was already better than everybody else. But I'm not sure how well he can play. But it'll be a great challenge for him. As for myself, I think I can play well. I think I'll be a good rebounder. I'm never going to play as well as I played in the past. It'd be stupid for me to think that.
That isolation game, which was pretty much your game the last few years of your career, is pretty much outlawed now with the new rules. What are you going to do?
Well, I'm a scorer, and I'm going to rebound. I mean, and they're making the game easier. The zone will help me because you can't box out in the zone. And if you play with other dominant players, it's really, I don't like the zone at all. I think they're trying to make the game easier for bad players. But I will be effective if this thing comes to volition.
Mark Cuban, the Maverick owner, never at a loss for a quote, said if Michael comes back, he'll get his butt kicked all over the court by the league's young stars. What do you say?
Well, you just said, Mark, I like Mark, but Mark is nuts. Michael, I don't think, can be what he was 10 years ago. But what he lost, a lot of these guys never had. But obviously, when he play against guys like Kobe Bryant, Michael Finley, Ray Allen, those guys are going to be tough matchups for him.
How do you compare Kobe, the young Kobe, to the young MJ?
Well, I think right now at 22, this Kobe's better than Michael at 22. I believe that. I said that on the air. Kobe is really playing. He's got such a calmness about him. I think they finally have what I say is it. They know if they play well, nobody can beat them. They're at peace. They're not worried about who getting the headlines. They just want to win.
On the air this year, you said things like Rasheed Wallace is a knucklehead. A lot of people would probably agree. You said Vince Carter was playing like a girl. This could make for some very interesting matchups if you get back on the court next year.
Well, you know what? Rasheed Wallace is a nice kid, and he's a terrific player, but there's no excuse for what happened to that situation in Portland. I like Vince Carter a lot. I was just taking off shooter what Charles Oakley said, but
But you think some guys will be looking for payback?
Well, just let me tell you this. I don't whistle when I walk by the graveyard. I'm not afraid. I mean, ain't no chicken in here. Miss Barkley didn't raise any punks. And if I come back, you can be sure I'm not going out there to protect my reputation. I'm going out there to make my reputation.
You were a brash guy when you came in. You're still a brash guy. If at 25 you saw John Havlicek or Walt Frazier come back, wouldn't have you been waiting to smoke them? Like, what do you think you're doing? Well, get out of here, old man.
But just from a competitive standpoint, I would never, as much as I love Michael as a brother and as a friend, I would never attempt to come back if I could not play well. Number one, I won't think he would want me to come back and the same with him. I'm not sure I want him to come back. He is my friend, and if he was to ask me honestly my opinion, I would say, man, I'm not sure this is a good idea for you because you're competing against somebody you can't beat, and that's yourself.
Now, you guys say that you'll let everybody know by the end of the summer. The Wizards have the first pick in the draft. That's at the end of June. Don't they need to know what the composition, what two important components of their roster might be before they select in the draft and make plans?
I don't think so. I mean, Michael ultimately has to make the final decision. Whether he going to play or not, that's totally up to him. If he wants to do it, I'm going to support him 100%. For myself, I'm not going to play if I got a least small chance of embarrassing myself. And he probably would waive me.
Here's the last thing real quick. I get the impression that you're skeptical about Michael's chances to really pull this off, but you're along for the ride if he wants to try.
No, I'm his friend, and I'm going to support him no matter what. But I don't want him to do anything to hurt his legacy or his legend. But I'm going to support him no matter what. And for me, hey, if anybody else other than Michael Jordan, I wouldn't even consider this.
So possible he could play and you wouldn't if you feel not up to it?
Oh, yeah, no question.
Okay, good to see you again.
Thanks
a lot. Still time to play the back nine. Let's go back to Ahmad in New York.
All right, thank you very much, Bob. And very interesting to find out that Charles does not have a guaranteed contract. We'll be back with more in just a moment as we turn to the question, who is the NBA's weakest link? You're watching Net Zero at the half. It is halftime in Los Angeles where the Lakers lead the Spurs by 23. The next few weeks will not only determine this year's NBA champion, we will also find out just who is the weakest link in basketball. For more on that, let's go out to Jim Gray in Los Angeles. Jim.
All right, thank you very much, Ahmad. I am now joined by Ann Robinson, the hostess of The Weakest Link. And this is your first time in an American arena for a basketball game and a sporting event. What's your impression?
It's truly exciting. I must say it's a whole lot faster than cricket or football, and it's lovely seeing families here, too. I'm just having a ball.
Now, I understand you met Shaquille O'Neal. What was that like?
That's been one of my most exciting moments since getting to L.A. And he taught me to say basketball. We met on Leno, and I've taught him to say basketball.
Now, you have a chance to deal with some of these big guys, and I'm wondering if you're going to be as mean as you are to the regular contestants because at halftime of Games 2 and Game 3 in the NBA Finals, there's going to be a special edition of The Weakest Link with Bob Costas, Bill Walton, Snapper Jones, Baron Davis of the Charlotte Hornets, and Lisa Leslie. What was your overall impression of Bob?
Brief.
How about Bill?
He was quite mean to me, but I was mean back.
All right, and what are your thoughts on the San Antonio Spurs?
Well, I tell you, I can't go back to my seat in the stands unless I say the San Antonio Spurs, you are the weakest link, and the LA Lakers, you are the strongest link. Very good.
And
Goodbye.
that's what you get to say on your show, but since it's our show, we get to say that to you. Ann Robinson, goodbye.
Thank you, Jim.
Back to you, Ahmad.
And may have trouble going to San Antonio with those words too, Jim. Turning now to auto racing in the 85th running of the Indianapolis 500, it was Helio Castroneves of Brazil taking the checkered flag. He won by nearly 2 seconds. In golf, Tom Watson captured the Senior PGA Championship in Paramus, New Jersey. He finished at 14 under par, 1 stroke ahead of Jim Thorpe. Coming up, we will send you back to Los Angeles for the second half between the Spurs and the Lakers. Thanks for joining us on Net Zero at the half.
This has been Net Zero at the half. Net Zero, defenders of the free world. Introducing Net Zero Platinum, the ultimate internet. Visit www.netzero.net today.
Back at Staples Center in Los Angeles, the Lakers doing it once again to the Spurs. Shaq with 23, 14 apiece for Kobe and Derek Fisher. It's another rout. We'll be back with the second half in a moment. Marv Albert with Doug Collins and Jim Gray back at Staples in Los Angeles. And Doug, to demonstrate how far out of hand this has been, in the 6 quarters played thus far here in Los Angeles, the Lakers have outscored the Spurs by 62 points. They won by 39 on Friday night, and they have the 64-41 lead here with the third quarter getting underway. Antonio Daniels, Terry Porter in the backcourt. Nice pass. Robinson with the bucket and a foul. Good exchange as Porter was able to find the cutting Robinson.
We're going to find out a lot about San Antonio right now, Marv. This is a very proud team, a very classy team, and they've been embarrassed. We'll see if they're going to come out and try to fight back and get into this game. David Robinson, 1 of 8 in the first half, finally gets a dunk to go. That's his first free throw attempt. He gets that. So we'll find out whether there's any spunk, whether there's any fight in their team. We've seen Popovich try to get a technical, do everything he can to get his team excited. But you know what? It comes down to these players. This is personal and collective pride right now.
Now 3 fouls apiece on Fox, Grant, and O'Neal. Fox called on that foul. Fisher and Bryant in the backcourt. O'Neal, Grant, Fox up front. On the turnover, back comes Porter. Tim Duncan. So Duncan 5 for 8 from the field. The Spurs shot just under 38% in the first half, and the Lakers at 59. They were 26 for 44 from the floor. Bryant off the hesitation. Good help defense by the Spurs. First couple of forays by the Lakers. Robinson. Well, David Robinson is now 2 for 9. Crowd is impatient. The Lakers have not scored in a minute and a half. Here's Bryant.
That's why you have stars. Find you a basket, get yourself going once again. I'm sure it's tough in that locker room at halftime. Phil Jackson sees his team up 23 points, 3-0 lead. To have their attention, that's got to be tough.
Another Lakers steal. That is their 6th steal of the game. You know, you look back over the regular season, the San Antonio Spurs only during one stretch lost as many as 4 in a row. And that's what they're facing here if they are swept. That was back in January. Foul committed by Duncan. That's number 4.
As we look back at this series, Marv, you and I did game 1. I thought that was the game that the Spurs had to win. They had to put some doubt in the Lakers' mind. Kobe goes in 45 points, takes over the game. He and Shaq dominant, and then they steal game 2 where it looked like the Spurs were going to win. From then it's been all downhill for the Spurs. But I thought the tone for game 1 really set the whole thing for the Lakers. They went in and immediately stole the home court away.
Last touch by the Spurs. 2 on the shot clock. Rick Fox inbounds. Shaquille O'Neal. David Robinson able to get to that rebound. Let's check in with Jim Gray. Jim?
All right, Ahmad. Well, I spoke to Avery Johnson at halftime. He said he's mad, he's embarrassed, so is the entire team. He says it's as though we didn't show up for the entire series. Maybe we will this half, but it's probably too late. Mark?
Kobe Bryant with a nice lead pass that was broken up by Tim Duncan.
You can see the Lakers have lost their edge, but the thing about it is San Antonio's not taking advantage of it.
Robinson. So David Robinson now has 7 points, and the Lakers lead by 20.
Now, Phil's not a guy that'll call timeout. He'll let him struggle. He'll let him lose 10, 12 points off the lead and say, find your own way. He will not try to fix this for them.
Bryant rejected and fouled. David Robinson with number 4.
Look at the numbers. David Robinson, who did bounce back in Game 3, struggled big time today. Now in foul trouble, both he and Tim Duncan with 4. Again, the second shot opportunity. The Lakers in their Game 3 win, when they win by 39, Marv, they had 22 offensive rebounds. So I think they missed 46 shots in the game and got 22 of them back and shot 48% for the game. I mean, you're not going to beat anybody giving up those kind of percentages.
You look back to Game 3, and Kobe Bryant said he was actually surprised the Lakers were able to blow out the Spurs in such overwhelming fashion Friday night. Phil Jackson saying that San Antonio seemed tired and fatigued.
I think mentally more than physically.
Antonio Daniels from downtown. So the Laker lead is now 67-49. Lakers have led by as many as 26. A reach-in foul on the Spurs. Bennett Salvatore telling Antonio Daniels, I don't want to discuss it, as Porter picked up the foul.
Now, these are all the #1 ranks that the Spurs had in the regular season. And look what they've done in this series. Minus 20-point differential. Look at the three-point field goal percentage. The opponent's three-point. I mean, they have been taken out of their entire game by the Laker defense. But right now, they're trying to claw back in it, and the Lakers are giving them that opportunity. They're sort of sleepwalking right now at this halftime.
And Duncan is fouled. Foul on Grant. That's 4 on Grant. This is actually the best stretch of the game that San Antonio has been able to put together. They have outscored the Lakers 8-3 here at the start of the third quarter. Robert Horry will check back in, coming on for Horace Grant.
Marv, you get a sense that we might not see Derek Anderson anymore. Ferry starting this half instead of Derek Anderson. Maybe that shoulder really is bothering him.
Horry defending on Duncan. He's done a good job throughout the series on Tim Duncan, but picks up the foul. That's the second on Horry. A correction, Bryant picks it up, but Kobe coming over to help out. That's 3 on Kobe. There's Derek Anderson, who started the game, as you mentioned, played 12 minutes, 0 for 2 from the field. He has not been able to get going since returning from that separated right shoulder injury. 0 for 8 in his return on Friday night.
When you've been out that long and you've been hurt, there's no way you can have any kind of rhythm. Now you come into a game that you have to win. You're down 2-0, and he just didn't have an opportunity to play well. And I don't think Greg Popovich wants to put him out there and watch him struggle. He's been too good a part of this team this year.
Crowd becoming impatient, accustomed to the Lakers scoring on nearly every possession. Fox for 3. So the lead is back to 20.
Three-point shooting now. The Lakers have hit 5 in this game. The Spurs 2. And you would expect it would be the other way around, because that's what the Spurs lived off.
Kobe broke it up. Oh, he went behind the back as he tried to elude Duncan and deflected it out of bounds. Good idea. Didn't work.
Yeah, he had the presence of mind to know the defender was coming up behind him, and he tried to all in one motion get a see. He sees Duncan, and he tries to wrap it around behind his back, just could not get a good handle on it.
We have played 5 minutes on this third quarter. Duncan thought he had position. Robinson, he's been way off.
That barely grazed front rim.
Fox taking it to the rim. Here's Porter unleashing for three. So Derek Porter hitting from downtown. 8 points for Porter. Lakers now lead 70-53.
So we have not seen any of that because the Lakers have scored so easily. You have not been able to see the Spurs get out and run, spot up, and shoot those shots. That's what they do best when they can get their feet set and shoot that little jump shot. Porter's wide open on that play.
Bryant played by the double. Bryant somehow able to work himself free.
Just squeeze through two defenders. He is so lightning quick.
Again, the open shot for Porter as Horry stepped away in a mix-up defensively. He thought that Bryant would switch off.
Look, when you see a team lose this kind of concentration, it's when you get a big lead. And right now, the Lakers are just sort of going through the motions defensively. I can't make Phil happy, but you know what? He's going to let him work it out. He always does.
Fisher for three. Derek Fisher with 17 points. That's his third from downtown. He's 3 for 4 from beyond the three-point line. Foul on Bryant. That's number 4. And a timeout is taken with 5:26 left in the third quarter. Look at Kobe off the spin, able to split his way through. And now Bryant finding the open Derek Fisher, who fires and hits from deep in the corner. Lakers up by 20. The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Toyota. More choices, better selection. Experience Toyota today. By NikeBasketball.com. By McDonald's, we'd love to see you smile. And by Prudential Financial, grow and protect.
Well, it's the Lakers 20 with 5:26 to go in the third period. And the reason they have this lead is because their defense, their energy, their hustle. Derek Anderson mishandles the ball. Rick Fox down to pick it up, contesting every shot. Kobe not allowing David Robinson to dunk the ball. Here inside, the swarming defense once again turns David Robinson away. And Duncan goes to the basket. 3 defenders coming over, not letting him finish. So that has been the story of this entire series. Just the persistent Laker defense that has really been relentless, other than maybe this 5 minutes to start this period with a big lead where they're allowing San Antonio to get back in it if San Antonio can make a little bit of a run.
Malik Rose back on, replacing David Robinson. Tim Duncan deflecting it out of bounds. Kobe getting a rest. Let's check in with Jim Gray. Jim?
All right, Marv. Well, Derek Anderson is done for the day. He is icing right now his right shoulder. He is having some cramps in his right arm. And Will Sevening, the trainer, confirming to us that he will not return today. And should the series go on, it will be day-to-day. They just don't know his availability, but he is definitely through for the rest of this game. Marv?
All right, Jim. Derek Anderson had a rough time once again today, as he did in making his return in Game 3. Porter fires the 3. Lakers now have Robert Horry up front with Shaquille O'Neal and Rick Fox, Brian Shaw, and Derek Fisher in the backcourt.
You know, Marv, even through this lull by the Lakers, San Antonio's only been able to take 3 points off the lead, and now we're down to almost 8 minutes in the quarter that they've lost. So time's slipping away right now. They have got to put something together.
Shaq is headed to the line. Avery Johnson and Sean Elliott checking in. Antonio Daniels called for the foul, his first. Well, Memorial Day Monday, beginning at 3 Eastern. You can bring that barbecue inside for a doubleheader of basketball action. First at 3 Eastern, the return of the WNBA on NBC. Lisa Leslie and the Sparks taking on Tina Thompson and the 4-time defending champion Comets. And then more NBA playoff action. The Sixers going up against the Bucks. Question is, will Allen Iverson make his return? Ray Allen and the Bucks defeating the Sixers yesterday to take the 2-1 lead. They'll play Game 4. You can spend your Memorial Day holiday watching the WNBA on NBC, and then the NBA playoffs. That's tomorrow beginning at 3 Eastern time.
I expect to see Allen Iverson tomorrow. And, you know, Marv, I think it was a good move holding him out because he's probably going to be much healthier and give his team a chance to win in Game 4. And if you're Philadelphia, all you say is all we have to do is win 1, and we have the home court back again. So they've allowed him to rest, and he's going to be better physically. Let's see if they can get the win. But Ray Allen and Sam Cassell, Glenn Robinson, those guys can put some points on the board. They've been great.
Illegal defense call for the first time against San Antonio. How about the Sixers hanging around yesterday with some intriguing combinations put out there by Larry Brown?
Mark, I want to tell you something. There's one thing I learned in this league about 30 years ago, and that's if you're tough and you're competitive and you'll get out and play defense and get after it, you can stay in games. And that's what you saw yesterday in Philadelphia. They were a gritty team, a determined team. They just couldn't score.
Daniels not able to hit the 3. And Tim Duncan thought it was last touched by the Lakers, but he knocked it out of bounds. Just under 4 remaining in this third quarter. The Lakers once again overwhelming the Spurs in the first half. San Antonio going through a brief run at the start of this third quarter. Elliott called for that foul. That's his first. Spurs over the limit, so Fox to the line. David Robinson has had a long day, sitting down after picking up his 4th foul. Just 3 for 11, 7 points.
You know, as I look over at Greg Popovich, and, you know, Mark, we've had a chance to spend some time with him, and he's always helped us so much out for the, for the games, just talking about things. And, you know, yesterday, in talking to him, it's almost like, you know, I don't even know what team I'm watching here. This is not the same team that I coached during the regular season. Now, you got to give the Lakers credit. He didn't want to take anything away from that. He said, but this is not the same kind of guys that I coached during the course of this season. We fought back through things. We didn't go through these kind of stretches. And this has been woeful.
Antonio Daniels able to hit. Greg Popovich was talking about the lack of belief after the game on Friday night. And I thought handled things very compassionately with his players. As you know, a coach can go either way. He can get very angry, try to explode, or take the softer approach. And it's an offensive foul. It's on Shaquille O'Neal, who, as you can see, does not like the call as he collects his 4th personal.
Shaq in the low post, they ruled that he pushed off, I guess, on Duncan as he went for the loose ball. I mean, body's just flying. Like bowling pins flying out of there when you try to guard Shaq. Look at this man, how powerful he is. And then he finally misses dunk. Shaq, unhappy, felt like that he had been grabbed on the arm. Now he will sit. He has 4 fouls.
Getting back to the San Antonio Spurs, and then Popovich talked to us yesterday. They go through practice as players are all saying the right things. Here's Avery Johnson, and then they come out, and it's the same situation.
You know what? It's easy to talk about believing as we see Mad Dog Manson taking it to the hoop on Tim Duncan, one of the most popular players on this Laker team with his hard work and energy and what he brings. 5 fouls now on Duncan. And wouldn't you know it, Mark Madsen going to the basket, getting a foul on Duncan. That's sort of been the day for the San Antonio Spurs. Once again, the Lakers up by 22. Well, when you talk about diesel power, only one guy, Shaquille O'Neal, you can be speaking about. Look at the power. Now look at Tim Duncan's face. As Shaq punishes the players inside. Look at his little bounce. And just look at how far he drives the defense back into the lane. The power inside. And that takes its toll. He just wears you down. So come third, fourth quarter time, you just don't have the legs to finish off the game. Look at Malik Rose, Tim Duncan look at each other. And, you know, we talked to Shaq early in the year, and he said, you know what? Guys might want to bang with me for a quarter, or maybe 2, maybe 3, but in the fourth quarter, they are not going to be standing. And, you know, Mark, one of the things we've seen is we always talk about big guys got to make their open shots against Shaq. But come fourth quarter, they don't have any legs. That shot is not there.
Mark Madsen not able to complete the three-point play. Third quarter is winding down, and the Lakers have a 79-57 lead. David Robinson is back on the floor, coming on for Tim Duncan. Avery Johnson. That's his second field goal. Lakers now have Fox, Ori, and Madsen up front with Shaw and Fisher in the backcourt. Los Angeles Lakers on their way to a 19th straight win. Fox from downtown. He's had a terrific shooting ball game. 12 points for Fox. That's his third three.
So Kobe and Shaq sit. So what happens? Rick Fox steps out and hits a three.
Steve Kerr. Kerr and Johnson now in the backcourt. Rose, Robinson, and Elliott up front. Malik Rose got the stab.
Robert Horry sort of looked over to Mark Madsen and said, I can't help you on that. When you see Robert Horry, looks like he's limping, Barb, as he's coming down the floor. Remember, he got banged in his leg early in the quarter.
And it's a 3-second violation on Madsen.
Well, Rick Fox is a guy that usually doesn't run a lot of screen rolls. Sean Elliott tries to go underneath Mark Madsen's screen, and Rick Fox shoots that little set shot three, buries it, and keeps the Lakers ahead now by 21.
Rose shooting from three-point range.
That's a little out of character.
Malik saw the open shot and fired away.
And what he used to always say, you know why you're open out there? Because you can't make that one. Pass it.
Fisher with 19 points. Johnson eluding Fisher, and Robinson puts it down. So the Lakers now lead 84-63, under a minute to go in this third quarter, and we're headed for our second consecutive game of extensive garbage time, unless there is a dramatic turn by the San Antonio Spurs. Mark Madsen with a rainbow one-hander. Wait a moment.
I guess he feels like shooting is contagious. Going to take that one.
Foul is called on Shaw. Coming to NBC.
Fear is the name of the game. 6 contestants, 3 terrifying challenges, winner take all. Fear Factor coming to Mondays on NBC.
And that will be Monday, June 11th. Avery Johnson at the line with the Lakers over the foul limit. Los Angeles Lakers won their final 8 games of the regular season. You almost forget that they were just an average, well, certainly a top-ranked team of the West over the first half of the season, but they turned it up following the All-Star break. Shaquille O'Neal said that it would be different after the All-Star break, and he was correct. Robert Horry, so they win their final 8 in the regular season. They sweep through Portland, 3 and out. Do the same against Sacramento. They take 4 in a row. And now the question is, can they become the first NBA team to run the table in the postseason? Johnson with the follow. Final seconds of this third quarter. Here's Robinson. So we're 3 complete at Staples. It's the Lakers 86 and the Spurs 66. The Lakers hoping they're 12 minutes away from yet another sweep. We'll be back after these words from your local station.
This copyrighted telecast of the National Basketball Association is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. And any retransmission, reproduction, rebroadcast, or other dissemination or use of this telecast, or of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited.
Back at Staples in Los Angeles, Doug, an eclectic group on hand. Once the capacity crowd, reigning world champion figure skater Michelle Kwan, Diane Cannon, and a guy who knows a thing or two about knockouts, Mike Tyson, Steven Spielberg, Michael Clark Duncan very much involved.
Using his Shaq dislodge move there.
Dustin Hoffman. Heather Locklear from the weakest link. And Robinson saying goodbye. Not to Jack. Jack looking for the switch. The man sees the camera and puts on a performance. Fourth quarter is underway. Robinson. And Bryant able to reach for the rebound. Lakers with an 86-66 lead. Shaquille O'Neal is back up front with Mark Matson. And a three-guard offense being utilized here by Phil Jackson. Teron Lewis come on. He's with Kobe Bryant and Brian Shaw. 3 on the shot clock. Here's Kobe to the fadeaway. Johnson lost to Lou, getting a piece of it from behind. Kobe with a crossover. Matson for O'Neal.
Shaq loves Mark Madsen. He is really taking him under his wing. I'm sure the Mad Dog really thrilled. He got him a nice assist there to Shaq.
Mark Madsen, the Lakers' #1 pick in the draft. Next to the final selection on the first round. Here's Kerr. Lakers continue to show energy here at the start of this fourth quarter.
I think that's why Phil put Teron Lue into the game, so they could get some more of that energy. They were a little bit of a lull in that third period, but that's to be expected.
Lue for 3. Crowd chanting for Teron Lue. Sean Elliott.
This is ugly. Or this is real ugly. San Antonio cannot make an open shot. I mean, what has happened to this team? You look at Derek Anderson now. He's out with his shoulder. Antonio Daniels. Only what's going through these guys' minds. Never in their wildest dreams, I don't think, did they ever imagine they would get dismantled and embarrassed like they are right now.
Bryant with the step and hit from behind by Elliott. Well, the Spurs are now shooting only 38% from the field. Lakers at 54%. Kobe Bryant at the line for 2. Doug, do you get the idea that there's a weakest link theme working here? Weakest link has captured the imagination of America. Tomorrow you can catch it at its new time. Weakest link. Now Monday at 9, 8 Central, right here on NBC. 2 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. And the Lakers with a 90-66 lead. Avery Johnson. Avery showing the lively legs here in the second half. Now it's 9 points.
Well, he's such a leader for this team. In '99, he was the guy that gave them the spark, the passion. He was always the guy that got David Robinson fired up. And I know it's a very embarrassing time for Avery right now as we see Kobe going to the little fadeaway jumper.
Rose met by Matson. What is particularly embarrassing for the Spurs, or he might be blown out one game, and they're struggling here once again. But to be blown out consecutive games in the Western Conference Final Series, see the look on the face of Tim Duncan.
The Lakers' defense is everywhere. It's almost like 6 against 5. What they're doing, they're chasing the Spurs off that three-point line, forcing them to put it on the floor, and then recovering, and the Spurs just have no answers for this defense.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by GMC. From professional grade people come professional grade trucks. By Frostburg Coors Light, who reminds you the 3 most important words are, hey, beer man. By the United States Postal Service, for tools to help small businesses, check out USPS.com. And by IBM, taking e-business and your business to the next level.
Welcome back to the Staples Center in the fourth quarter. I'm Jim Gray. I'm now joined by Rick Fox's wife, the very beautiful and talented Vanessa Williams. Vanessa, what have you been doing in the past several months? Because Rick Fox is on an absolute tear.
He's focused, he's feeling it, and I'm just giving him some good loving, I guess.
Must be the case. Are you surprised at how well the team has done?
You know, they've all gelled. They're really supporting each other, and I'm so happy to see that turnaround because, you know, it's all about team effort, and they're really putting the effort together.
Now, Vanessa, what do you think of him not cutting his hair during this streak? It's going to be as long as yours.
Well, I think it's great. I'm the one who's encouraging him. If he's feeling good about it, then why not, you know?
And would you have a song of the day appropriate for the Times?
Well, they're up comfortably, so I would say celebrate good times. Come on, you know?
There's going to be a party going on right here.
That's right.
All right, Vanessa, thank you for taking the time with us. Congratulations.
Go Lakers.
All right, Mark, back to you.
Thank you, Jim. Is there a talent fee involved that we have to pass on here to Vanessa?
Let me tell you, while that interview was going on, Kobe just made a sensational move in the lane. I looked over at the Laker bench, and they were bowing to him, but he drove, hung in the air, jackknifed his shot. I mean, this young guy just keeps coming at you. Watch this play now. He goes in, goes away from David Robinson, hangs in the air. Oh, wow. Just the hits keep on rolling.
And Shaquille O'Neal sits down. Here's it from the crowd. 26 points, 11 of 18 from the field, along with 10 rebounds for Shaq. The Lakers with a 92-69 lead. And Bryant is fouled. To show how devastating the Lakers have been, this is the largest average margin of victory. The Lakers beating up on the Spurs to the tune of just under 21 points differential per game.
It's been incredible. It really has. And, you know, the two stars have been so great, but the rest of the team has really stepped up. Avery Johnson here with the steal, finally going to get an easy one for the Spurs. But, you know what? Stars make the other guys better. And that's what Kobe and Shaq have done, especially in the playoffs. Kobe's found the open shooters. They've knocked down the shots. And really, one word, Mark, really trust. They trust each other on both ends of the floor, and that's why they're playing so well.
Here's Brian Shaw for three. Avery Johnson, Danny Ferry, David Robinson, and Tim Duncan both back on the floor. Antonio Daniels. Daniels to the reverse.
Again, that's that speed that the Spurs so desperately need. And, you know, Marv, I think when they start looking at their team over the summer, they're going to have to say, what are we going to have to do if we want to beat the Lakers? And you know what they're going to have to do? They're going to have to add some speed on that perimeter.
Here's Bryant giving it back. Fisher for three. Yes! 22 points for Derek Fisher. He is 4 of 5 from downtown. He has had another magnificent ball game. Daniels for three.
See, that's the difference. Fisher's knocking his down. Antonio Daniels isn't. And when you look on the season, it should just be the other way around.
Here's Bryant from downtown.
How about that hustle right there by Horace Grant now between both Duncan and Robinson. They're up 22 points. The shot goes up, and Horace wants it more. That's why the Lakers are going to sweep them.
Engineer Tom Sutter is a student of tranquility. For the all-new GMC Envoy, he and his team used hydroform technology to absorb vibrations for a surprisingly comfortable ride. They also gave Envoy a 270-horsepower best-in-class engine. They want you to feel relaxed, not fall asleep. Introducing the all-new GMC Envoy.
Well, Kobe Bryant again trusting his teammates, that dribble penetration. Look at all the defenders he draws. And Derek Fisher knocking it down, not known as a three-point shooter during his career. He's worked so hard. And the architect of this team, Jerry West, just shaking his head in disbelief, saying, I can't believe it. But, you know, when you look at this team, he brought Phil Jackson in to coach it, recognizing they needed a strong coach. Got Shaq as a free agent by freeing up money, traded Vlade Divac to get Kobe Bryant, drafted Derek Fisher with a 25th pick in the draft late. You know, picked up Horace. The things that these guys have done here in Los Angeles, specifically Jerry West, deserves a lot of credit. They've played tremendous basketball for a lot of years out here.
Fisher again for three.
Now, he's got a smile. He's got the smile. He's in Hollywood here right now. The show that he's putting on.
He is now 14 of 19 from downtown in the 4 games of this series. Rick Fox called for the foul. Derek now has 25 points. Let's send it over to Jim Gray.
All right, Marvel, I spoke to Jerry West a couple of days ago. He's very, very reluctant to want to take any credit for what's going on. He's very humble. He wants to shy away now that he's in his retirement. But when things were going wrong with Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal, it was Jerry West who stepped in and spoke to Kobe Bryant on a regular basis. And it's one of the people that Kobe confides in and trusts. And it was Jerry West who helped straighten this ship out, who got everything right. And he's reluctant to take the credit for it and reluctant to get back into the public view. But behind the scenes, he has been an enormous help. In fact, he has been the key factor in getting this thing straightened out. Marv?
All right, Jim, what a move by Antonio Daniels. And a reach-in foul is called. And Rush telling Daniels to settle down. Foul is called on Antonio. Kobe Bryant did say the other day that, yes, he had a particularly long conversation with Jerry West when things were not going well. He said, you know, it wasn't a defining moment, but it certainly was helpful for his head when there was all that tension going on between Kobe and Kobe drills one. Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal and Phil Jackson taking little shots from time to time.
Well, you know, it's all come together at the right time. And Mark, I said all along, even when they were going through that period of time, they were the team to beat. They're the most talented team. When you throw Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal out there together, and now you get this kind of play from Rick Fox and Derek Fisher and the rest of the team, this is a much better team than last year. They're better defensively. They're better offensively. They're more athletic. Look at the hustle by Horace Grant. Now, this guy's been in the league 14 years and is not quitting on a loose ball, and they're up 24 points.
It has been another game of near perfection. Matson is rejected. Near perfection by these Los Angeles Lakers. And they will look ahead to meet the winner between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Philadelphia 76ers. Grant with another rebound.
That's got to kill Greg Popovich. It has to kill him. You know, he's over there, and he just sees Horace Grant going up over both of his big men and taking the ball away.
Coming up on 5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Certainly a part of the motivation for the Los Angeles Lakers. Robinson with a nice jump hook from the baseline. The fact that the Spurs, the team that swept the Lakers out of the playoffs back in 1999, on their way to a championship that was labeled an asterisk title by Phil Jackson, although he did pull away from that.
You know, I broadcast that series, and I'll never forget that Tim Duncan, that can't be Derek Fisher throwing another one in. Come on, Fish, give us a break here.
He looks like he can't believe it. 28 for Fisher. He's 11 of 13 from the field. He has been on fire from downtown, 6 of 7 from beyond the three-point line. It has been a remarkable playoff run for Derek Fisher. 6 of 7 from downtown today, 15 of 20 for the series.
Now, this is a guy who missed 62 games and maybe was going to miss the entire season. Worked on his shooting while he was hurt, and he has really lit it up this entire playoff series. The trust by his teammates, the confidence level, no hesitation at all. And you love it when great things happen to great guys. And this is one of the great guys in the league, one of the quiet leaders, one of the most important pieces when this was all being put back together, Mark, when all the turmoil and everything, he was sort of a voice of reason. And when he came back, if I'm not mistaken, since then, they've been 26-5.
And Derek Fisher has set an NBA playoff record for a 4-game series with the 15 threes breaking the record that was held by Nick Van Exel and Robert Horry. Samaki Walker with his first field goal. He just checked in. Van Exel did it for the Lakers against Seattle in '95, and Horry for Houston against Seattle in '96. 15 three-pointers in the 4 games as Derek sits down with a career playoff high, 28 points. Devin George has checked in for the first time today. Teron Lue putting on a dribbling exhibition, but time running out on the shot clock. Kept alive by Harper.
And now we start talking about how much rest are the Lakers going to get. If that Eastern Conference Series goes 6 games, they're going to get 10 days rest. You'd say, well, rest or rust. But you know what? When you've got guys banged up a little bit, Shaq's ankle, you want the rest. And more importantly, Phil Jackson's been through this a lot. So he knows how much practice, how much work they need to do to be fresh and at their best in the finals.
And this crowd singing goodbye to the San Antonio Spurs. Walker coming up short. So the Lakers can look forward to at least a week's rest, with the Bucks and the Sixers battling it out. Game number 4 tomorrow. With just under 3 to go in this 4th quarter. Teron Lue.
Boy, this is going to be tough for the San Antonio Spurs to taste this all summer long. The Spurs are in that city kings, and Marv, I know when you lose in the playoffs, especially when you get this deep and you get beat this badly, you're going to feel this all summer long until November when that ball is tipped up again.
And this is somewhat different because it's a stunner to be swept so decisively.
Yes, I agree with that.
Coming off the best record in the NBA, 24-second violation. Spurs going 58-24 during the regular season, but on their way to being swept by the Lakers. The Lakers just 2 minutes and 18 seconds away from making it a sweep. And the only question for the Los Angeles Lakers, will they be facing the 76ers or the Bucks? And the Lakers lost both games against the Milwaukee Bucks this season as Sam Cassell and Ray Allen provided the spark for Milwaukee. Kobe Bryant missed time after an injury in Milwaukee, so not fond memories for the Lakers against the Bucks this year. Lakers and Sixers split their season series with Kobe putting on a show in the Laker victory, and Allen Iverson poured home 40 points in the Sixer win on Valentine's Day.
Well, Marv, I think the one thing when you talk about Milwaukee, they're a terrific shooting team, and that could pose problems for the Lakers. When you get those 3 guys hot, actually 4 if you throw in Tim Thomas. And for the 76ers, they depend so much on Iverson, but they have Dikembe Mutombo as the shot blocker. And so that could be very, very interesting. 2 totally different teams. Milwaukee reminds me a lot of the Pacers last year with Jalen Rose and Beston Miller and their ability to shoot the ball. And that caused the Lakers some problems last year.
With the Bucks, you get a shooter's chance.
Right, absolutely.
Here's Devin George. Philadelphia and Milwaukee will meet in Game 4 tomorrow afternoon, 5:30 Eastern Time here on NBC. Allen Iverson saying he will be back in action. A minute 40 remaining as Matson puts the move on Shawnell Scott and draws the foul.
Mark, getting back to 99, when we broadcast that series, Tim Duncan was so good. And at that point in time, he was playing as the best big man in the NBA. They swept the Lakers 4-0. And I really believe that was sort of a jump start for Shaquille O'Neal coming back the way he did. He heard all the comments, of which also I made, about Tim Duncan at that time being the best big guy in the NBA. Since then, there's been no question that Shaq has come back and been the most dominant player. Now, he started the year out hurt, but since the All-Star break, he has been the most dominant guy in the NBA in that paint.
Yeah, Shaq in complete domination last year. Disappointing first half of the season, and certainly conditioning or lack thereof had something to do with it. You could see it at the defensive end. Was not the same guy. With the finisher. And the Lakers now lead 106-80.
You know, I don't think Phil was ever concerned. I think he wanted Shaq to take the time off and rest and come back. I don't think he was ever concerned. I think he knew when he told his big man he needed him to get ready, that he would be there. And the big fellow responded, and we saw it right after that All-Star break. Kobe came back from his injuries and being banged around, and right now, these two guys, I don't think there's enough adjectives to talk about what they've done and how well they have played.
Yes, and it counts. So the Lakers getting it now from the reserves. First it was Devin George, and then Tyronn Lue.
You know you've got a team when the reserves are in the game. It's a blowout, and you look over at the bench, and Kobe's up, Shaq is up, and they're really cheering for their teammates. That's when you know you've come together. We saw that in Game 2 in San Antonio when Phil got thrown out. The bench was so into that game. I thought that was a key factor in them finding a way to win and put that series at 2-0.
Samaki Walker coming up short, and it will be Laker ball.
This is a team right here. This is Kobe, who has been awesome. Look at the smile of Shaquille O'Neal, Bryant Shaw. They're having fun, and why not?
And this capacity crowd on its feet. Lakers continue to force turnovers. Tyronn Lue taking it away from Avery Johnson, and the ball is deflected out of bounds with 17 seconds to go. And a foul has been called.
Well, one of the reasons why Tyronn Lue is on the playoff roster, as we look at David Robinson, we can only imagine what's going through his mind. Tim Duncan, the thought process of now they have been swept by the Lakers, who've returned the favor of 2 years ago. But Tyronn Lue on this roster to do just what he's done, the speed and the quickness. Instead of Penberthy's shooting, they wanted his speed and quickness in case they needed him off the bench, Mark.
Avery Johnson fouling out. Strong effort by Avery in the second half. 14 points. 6 of 10 from the field overall. We may be seeing the last of several of these San Antonio Spurs who have meant so much to the franchise. Sean Elliott, as Jim Gray mentioned earlier, playing his last NBA game. Who knows what the future holds for Avery Johnson and several other of the San Antonio Spurs. And the Spurs just winding it down. The Los Angeles Lakers running the table through the first 3 rounds of the playoffs. 19 straight wins. 11-0 in the postseason. Their 3rd consecutive sweep as they defeat the Spurs 111 to 82. Shaquille O'Neal, 26 points, 10 rebounds. Kobe Bryant, 24 points, 10 assists. Derek Fisher on fire from downtown. 28 points in all. Shaq and his dad, Philip Harrison. There's Derek Fisher for the series. Kobe averages better than 33 per game. Shaq at 27 per game. So as far as the Lakers are concerned, bring on the Bucks or the Sixers. We'll be back after this. We'll talk with Shaquille O'Neal when we return.
Jim Gray back in Los Angeles. The Lakers have won in a sweep. Shaquille O'Neal, one of the main reasons why, Shaq, a couple of years ago, you were swept by the San Antonio Spurs. They broke your heart, and you knew how bad that felt. How much of a motive was that in this series?
You know, we knew that this was going to be a great test for us. However, if we kept playing the way we've been playing, moving the ball, everybody getting involved, Kobe's doing a beautiful job getting everybody involved, we knew that we had a great chance of winning this thing. And, you know, we went up there, got 2 at their place, and, you know, we played great at home, and, you know, we just wanted to finish it out, and we did that.
All right, Shaq, we look forward to seeing you in the finals. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
All right, back to you, Marv.
Thank you, Jim. And now let's join with the public address voice of Staples Center, Lawrence Tanter.
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let's put our hands together for the San Antonio Spurs on their great year. And now, to present the Western Conference Championship Trophy to the Los Angeles Lakers, let's welcome NBA Special Assistant to the Commissioner, Bob Lanier. Bob Lanier is now presenting the Western Conference Championship Trophy to Mitch Kupchak, General Manager of the Lakers, and the entire 2001 NBA Western Conference champions.
Kobe, congratulations to you. I know this is just the first step in what you hope is another championship. Is that why we're still seeing the serious side? It's not all accomplished yet?
Well, you know, it's an enjoyable moment for us to win the Western Conference Championship. You know, to sweep a team like San Antonio means so much to us, but there's so much work to be done.
Because they broke your heart a couple of years ago when they swept the Lakers. How much of an incentive was that for the series?
Well, today I think we use it as motivation to come out and play harder and to stay focused on this team because they did sweep us in '99. So we kind of wanted to return the favor somewhat.
Kobe, we look forward to seeing you in the finals. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Marv, they'll wait for Philly or Milwaukee.
All right, thanks very much, Jim. 19 consecutive victories for the Lakers. They wrap it convincingly here today, 111-82 over the Spurs. NBC's Memorial Day weekend continues tomorrow, 3 o'clock Eastern, with the return of the WNBA on NBC. Lisa Leslie and the Sparks going up against the 4-time defending champion Comets. And then Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Sixers hoping to even the series with the Bucks. Coming up next on NBC, except on the West Coast, it'll be Dateline, followed by Pearl Harbor, Legacy of an Attack. For Doug Collins and Jim Gray, I'm Marv Albert. Thanks for tuning in. The Lakers in a 4-game sweep over the Spurs. You've been watching the NBA playoffs on NBC.